Hi, everybody.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
I'm Bethany.
And we are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
And today we're going to do a ranking.
Woohoo! A choo-choo.
Yeah, a choo-choo ranking.
That's right. We are talking about Ticket to Ride. This game is a classic in our opinion, and it has breeded a whole lot of maps and expansions and spin-offs, and we wanted to talk about those, what our favorites were out of all the ones we've played, which is a lot. That being said, there are some we haven't played, so if you don't hear your favorite, let us know down below in the comments so we know which ones to try out next.
Also not on our list is Alvin and Dexter.
Although...
Okay, side note before we get ready. When we first got Alvin and Dexter, I didn't understand what minis were. And I didn't understand why we got this package of like these really opaque colored...
Like, why is like this tan, this horrible beige dinosaur?
Like, what am I supposed to do with it? This doesn't look like a dinosaur. I have since learned my lesson on that.
Yes, and no, we have not learned how to paint since then either.
Nope, not at all.
We just deal with the beige.
Not at all. But let's get started on our list. Ryan has played a couple, literally 2 more maps than I have, so he will start.
All right, so if you're not familiar with Ticket to Ride, this is basically a train game. You are route building. You basically have a set collection mechanism happening where you are drawing cards, trying to get enough of a certain color in order to place trains out on a map. And you're going to get points based off how long your connection is of trains, as well as points for connecting certain cities or regions of the board or countries, depending on what map you're playing with, because they all have different special rules to them. Each one of them has their own twist and take, and therefore why there's so many different ones.
Yeah.
All right, so my number 17, because that's how many I've played, is higher on Bethany's list, and also my number 16 is higher on Bethany's list. So let's go to my number 15,
okay.
Which is higher on Bethany's list.
Okay, so my 15, I wrote down Ticket to Ride London, but basically all of the cities expansions. I view those all as one game. There's no reason to have all of them. And this is just like a micro version of Ticket to Ride. It takes about 20 minutes to play. There's not as many trains in there. It's just like literally a shorter version of the game. And while the game is fine, I would prefer playing Ticket to Ride. I think the benefit of the cities is if you're playing with really young kids who just have short attention spans.
Yeah, there's 3 of them so far. There is London, there's New York, and there's Amsterdam. And basically I'll just have a really small playtime, a really small, table presence, and portable friendly. Is that a word?
It is now.
Perfect. And budget friendly as well. So just because it's the last thing on our list does not make it bad. It's just the least favorite out of all the ones we like, which we like all these. We own these,
Yeah.
So that was my number 17, your number 15.
All right. And then I'm going to continue this list on because for the past 2 years when we've done lists, I've always gone first, and I don't want us to get confused. So my number 14,
which was my number 15,
is Switzerland. And the reason why this is placed where it is because I just don't remember it. It did not stick with me.
It's a forgettable map for sure.
Yeah.
Basically, this map has countries as well as cities that you're going to, and so it might say going from this city you can go to 3 or 4 different countries, and based off of how far away it is you're going to get a variable number of points, which is kind of novel for the scoring mechanisms of the game. Usually it's pretty clear cut. This distance is equal to this many points. This is like you got to kind of choose your own adventure kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool, but it was my number 15. It was pretty forgettable.
Yes, it was.
All
right, so my number 14... Wait, that was my number 14. My number 13... Let's see, where was that?
Wait, we didn't do my number 14 now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, do 14.
My number 14 is going to be higher on your list.
Okay, so my number 13 we actually match on, and that is Ticket to Ride Europe.
Yeah, this was kind of a standalone, one of the first standalone versions of Ticket to Ride besides the USA map. Introduced these tunnels, which was really nice because you can get blocked off pretty easily in basically every other map. But this introduced the tunnels to where other people could get in and through tunnels, so you were never really fully locked out of an area. But the less tunnels you used, the more points they were worth at the end of the game if you were able to hang on to them. So that was kind of nice.
Yeah, way back in the day when I first got my very first smartphone, this was like one of the apps I had on my phone, and I think I just overplayed it. I was
I like it, but
mumble, grumble.
I feel like I've seen this one enough times.
Yeah.
It's a good one. It's it was cool, but I felt like there was a consistent best path. Most of these other maps are there's multiple paths, literally and figuratively, to victory. This felt like if you take this one kind of part of the board, you're gonna do well, and if you don't, you're gonna struggle. Yeah. Which I don't like it when games kind of pigeonhole you like that.
All right, everybody. We matched.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, that was my number 13, and your number 13.
So my number 12 was Ryan's 16, and this is Italy.
Italy is kind of another kind of forgettable map, really. It turned wild cards into an actual viable color, essentially. So you can only use the wilds for these one specific parts of the fairy cards.
You couldn't use them on the rest of the board.
So they weren't special anymore. But also, you get points for having regions of the board. If you were able to kind of circumnavigate Italy as well as, set up these wilds to have these big swooping routes around on the coasts. So Italy, it was fun, and it was because it was so narrow. It was you had to fight a little bit, especially with more players. So it was interesting, but it kind of fell in that same line of Switzerland. It was just kind of like, you get to the other side of the map. That's the one I'd really play.
Yeah. All right, you guys. Now you're doing yours, right?
Oh, this is my number 12.
I keep trying to cut Ryan off.
I know.
Sorry.
It's because there's so much crossover because we're like literally drawing from the same pool of maps here. All right, so my number 12 is, well, it's higher on your list also. So what the heck?
All right, so my number 11 is higher on Ryan's list.
All right, so my number 11 is higher on your list. We're just cruising through.
Yeah, we're like getting through everything. Okay, so my number 10 was Ryan's number 14, and this is India. So this had, all the maps have like a bonus thing, like an extra thing you're trying to, how many.
Maybe it's like longest route or most connected trains or whatever it is.
Yeah, this one, India had this really fun one where it like, going in circles, like you wanted all of your routes to kind of match in a circle, and I just thought that was really neat. It was like the tourist something, or I don't remember what they called it.
Like circumnavigating something. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was just like go to circle around the board. Like how many places can you connect in your connecting circle? And I don't know. I had fun with that.
I agree. That one was it was a fun one. It's not one I see myself playing a lot anymore.
Yeah.
That's why I was my number 14. But I like that. It made you had to like. You could get more points that way. You could still get some points by doing it just the old-fashioned way, but you got a ton of points by getting there two different paths. All right, so that was your number 10. My number 10 is going to be also higher on your list. Eventually, I'll get to talk.
You just did talk.
A little.
Okay, so my number 9 was Ryan's number 12, and this is just base vanilla Ticket to Ride.
Yeah, this is the good old-fashioned US of A. Basically, in the east part of the board, which is really, really small, all connected cities, and the west side of the board is much more open, is big, long stretches where there's a lot of points, but not very many cities, which is makes sense for how the United States is set up a lot of times. Excuse me. And you had to really kind of weigh and measure: do you want a whole lot of routes or a whole lot of points from the board? And for that, it's just the simplest, classicest map. Yeah. This is the best one to play Alvin and Dexter on because it's so simple. There's no extra crazy rules. It is fun to add in Alvin and Dexter. And if we don't know what I'm talking about, that's like this little alien and dinosaur that roam the board and get you points. It's some little mini expansion that you could add to any map.
Minis.
Yeah, and they're minis. The USA map, or just Ticket to Ride, as it's called.
All right, your number 9?
My number 9, this is... your number 11. I get to talk about this one first this time. Okay. This is the Old West. This one, it's also takes place in the United States. And this one was interesting because in normal Ticket to Ride games, you were able to place, a section of trains over here, and then a section of trains over here, and then over the course of the game, maybe you connect them in some crazy way or whatever. This one, due to the technology at the time of the Old West, you basically had to start in one spot, and then everything you did had to be kind of built off of that. Which, you could Y off and do all kinds of things from there, but you had to be connected. It telegraphed to your opponent where you were going, and there was no surprises. You couldn't just jump across the map and try to block somebody or do anything like that. You had to be very predictable in a way.
You could also add Alvin in this map.
Yes, there's also, Alvin can jump in, and there's his own little... You don't need to have the Alvin and Dexter game, but it's fun if you can use that mini. Yeah. But there's an Area 51, Roswell, New Mexico spot on that board, and he hops in and can cause some chaos.
Yeah. All right, y'all. My number 8. We're on 8, right?
Sure.
Okay. So my number 8.
And my number 8.
We met.
We matched again because we're drawing from a smaller pool than usual.
No, because we're cute.
It's because we're cute. You're right.
We're cute. Okay, so my number 8 and Ryan's number 8 is France.
Yes, France was on the opposite side of the Old West. This one,
So fun.
The board is actually kind of just blank in a way. What you have to do is you actually have to buy tiles and place them onto the board.
So the different sizes and the different colors.
Yeah, and place them on the board. So you're drawing cards like normal, trying to get your set collection. But then once you're ready to place, you can't just place on the board because there's no spot for you to place on. You have to build the train tracks.
Talk about telegraphing to other players exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, you have to be able to, think a step ahead and be ready for,
And you could run out, so you might be like drawing certain colors, hoping that you can get something, but then the last 4 green spot was placed on the board, and now you have to do a different color because they do. I mean, it's limited. They're not just forever and always.
Yeah, so France was a really interesting one. This one has the most components, I think, just because you have to kind of build the routes.
Yeah.
But yeah, we like France.
All right, y'all. My number 7 is higher up on Ryan's list.
How does that feel? My number 7 is Nordic countries. This is one I don't think you've played yet, but it was a specialized one for 2 and 3 players, which was nice because a lot of times you'd play Ticket to Ride. A lot of these main maps, and they were set up for 4 or 5 players, and if you played with less, it was kind of got confusing a little bit. Or you just be nowhere near each other, no interaction whatsoever.
Or all the interaction, once one of the routes is placed, you can't do anything.
Exactly, you get blocked off really easily. So this was nice because it gave you more. It gave you the feel of a higher player count game in that smaller player, or with the 2 or 3 players. So I think they did a good job of making that map.
Yep.
All right, so that's my number 7.
Oh, okay. Up to me again. Okay, so my number 6.
And my number 6
is the Netherlands.
Yes, so this one, basically you have all these tolls that you have to pay.
Yeah.
So as you're building, you have to pay to build these tolls, but then other people can use your routes, and if they do, they have to pay you back.
Yeah, one of the things I actually really like about this game, as Ryan was talking about the other game, about the 2 to 3 player, so we've played this game a lot 2 player, and it has a really neat AI component to it that I thought it was just really well. If we ever did a top 10 AI games, I would probably put this one on there. I just really liked how it was handled throughout the board, and it gave you the tension that would be there in a higher player count.
Yeah, because if you build out in the middle of nowhere, the likelihood in a 2-player game of someone coming to where you are and building there and paying you back your money is very low, whereas in the middle of the board, it's much higher, and that AI gave you that chance that maybe you would still get a way to get your money back. So,
or have to pay somebody when you normally wouldn't have to.
Exactly, because they were kind of placing as well. And I really liked how that was a score mechanism. Whoever had the most money at the end of the game got some pretty big victory point rewards. So the Netherlands was pretty dang fun.
All right, so my number 5,
which was my number 11,
is Legendary Asia. I don't even remember what I like about this game. We play it. It's probably one of the ones we play the most, I would think, right?
Yeah, it's one of the ones.
Those mountains.
It had introduced the mountains, cool. I think, at least to us, where you could have a chance if you were going to lose trains, you'd be placing on the board, and you can actually choose to sacrifice trains in order to make sure you get across these mountain passes. And also there's a chance where you could, not be able to play for a turn. You had to have, what's that mechanism? The tunnels? I think
something like that.
Tunnels where you had to okay, this is the three oranges you needed to place, but you also had to draw a whole bunch of cards, and if there was any additional orange cards in those cards,
you had to play extra.
You had to play additional oranges. So you had to kind of double prepare, extra layer of preparedness.
But I like that because if you're building in that area, there's chances, in real life, there's chances you would just lose crap.
Yeah, because all your mountains and avalanches and whatever else.
Yeah, so this was a really fun one for us.
Well, for you, it was my number 11.
This is a really fun one for me.
Which again, we like all the games on this list. Just the higher is, the more we like it. All right, so my number 5, this is Bethany's number 7. This was the Japan map. Oh, man, it's kind of like Italy, where it's just a really long, skinny map, right? But what it did was it added these, what do you call those? Those high-speed trains, those...
Bullet?
The bullet trains, maybe? I don't know the exact terminology, but this bullet train that could act as all of our trains. So Bethany could use this section of it if it gets built, and she can kind of build up here to go to one city and down here in order to be and it all be connected. Whereas I could use this section over here of it, but you also have to build it, and whoever contributed the most to that bullet train got extra points as well. So the Japan map that was a
and
really
it ran out, so there's more spaces on the board for the train than there were actual train parts.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so it did run out eventually, and you'd have to do other things.
And also, there was kind of Tokyo was this weird part of the board where it actually kind of expanded Tokyo, and even within Tokyo, is its own region of the board because of how populated and dense it is.
Yeah.
All right, that is Japan, my number 5.
Oh, right. So we match on this one again.
They're so cute.
It's so cute. I love you.
Love you.
Okay, so our number 4, oh my gosh, it's just so much. Just like thinking about this is just making me happy. But this is Team Asia.
In the Team Asia board, you are working with other players. You can either do 2-on-2 or 2-on-2-on-2.
Yes.
And you're sitting next to your partner, but you cannot communicate with them. The only way you can communicate is to spend turns showing them cards. That's all you can really do. And obviously what you're playing on the board. If you take this spot over here and this spot over here, okay, it's pretty clear that maybe you want people to, the help from your partner to connect those two, the middle of that section. But it was just really interesting. You have a combined pool of what you're trying to do, but you each have your own set of trains.
Yes.
So if I run out of trains right away and Bethany's my partner, she's
you
like...
don't get any more.
Yeah, it's like, well, I guess now I'm the one placing all the trains from here on out.
Yeah.
So, but we have a combined... rack of cards though as well. We have our own cards and we have a shared pool of cards as far as the train cards, the colored cards, and so you can combine those cards and you can spend from your own rack and from your shared rack.
One of the things that I think is interesting about this game as opposed to other cooperative games is you play one right after each other. Mm-hmm. So you sit next to your partner, and when you play the game, partner 1 goes, partner 2 goes. And then the next team, partner 1 goes and partner 2 goes. And it's not like, partner 1, 1, 1, and then 2, 2, 2. You just go all next to each other. So that's kind of like fun because you can kind of set up your partner to do fun things.
And it's like one of the only Ticket to Rides where you can use 6 players.
Yes. Yeah.
But every time we play this, it's one of the most epic Ticket to Ride experiences.
All the time.
Every single time we play. I love it.
Yeah, it's a good one. All right, guys. My number 3 is higher on somebody's list.
My number 3 is Marklin. This is based off of a Germany map.
This is the other one I haven't played.
Correct.
Okay.
And you'll probably never get a chance to play it because it's so dang expensive. Because it is basically just out of print. This is a game I played at Gen Con. Oh man, I want to say like 7 years ago or 6 years ago or something. And it probably is a little high for how few times I've played it, but that being said, my memories of it are just so good. It was just that strong of a game. Yeah. It was by far, out of all this whole list, the heaviest, crunchiest, mechanic-heavy version of Ticket to Ride in a good way. It made, it's not the like gateway version of Ticket to Ride you're used to. This was like a train game, And so I don't remember the details super, super well because it was so long ago since I played it, but I would love to get my hands on a copy of this somehow. I'd love to stumble into a thrift store and see it unopened in shrink for $3.
We can help. We can help,
guys. And when we do that, we'll review it and let you know all about it.
Yeah.
That's my number 3, Marklin.
All right, my number 2 was lower on Ryan's list. It was 10.
It was number 10. It's not that good.
What? It's my number 2.
It's fine. It's great.
My number 2 is Heart of Africa. I love this one. I feel like it's really mean, and I enjoy that.
That's why I don't like it.
It also has regions on it, so there's different
terrains.
Terrains, basically. So you can play cards to get you bonus points on the terrain. So this is actually one of the games, and I think probably Japan is like this too because of the bullet trains. But most of the games you don't have to score as you play. You can score at the end because you can count where people went. This is one of the games you actually can't do that with because you don't know when people have doubled their routes. But you have the potential to get so many more points on all of not your routes, but where you're placing your trains by playing these terrain cards with them.
Yeah, I mean it's the tightest map by far, especially the higher player counts. Yeah. Even really the lower player counts. There's just because there's all the routes. There's
not a lot of cities in the middle too. All the cities are on the edges, and the middle just helps you connect to things.
Yeah, it's by far the tightest. It is incredibly easy to get blocked out. The point values. It's the biggest risk and reward map in my opinion. these routes are paying out 20, 30 points every time, and you'd really, really have to work for them. You might have to go way out and around because of how everything, all the direct routes to it were already taken up. So
yeah, I should say I don't win this one very much. I just like it anyway.
Yeah, I like Ticket to Ride to be like a chill experience, and this is not a chill experience for me. All right, so my number 2, which was Bethany's number 3, this is Pennsylvania. This gave me that when I hear this like train game, when I hear that, I think stock market.
Yeah.
And it's not true for like any of the games on this list except for Pennsylvania. But when you place routes, you get stocks in these various companies, and the more stocks you get into the game, of course, and the more points you're going to get. There are some, big companies. If you get a majority in those companies, you get lots of points. And there's smaller companies, and if you have you have a majority in that company, it's worth fewer points. So you're still trying to do the same things. You're still trying to connect routes. You're still trying to get your points, but you're also trying to get these stocks, which is really important.
And you can only buy stocks on the approved route that you just placed on. So you can't just like buy any stocks you want. So you might be really creative or intentional about going a different way so you can buy stocks in a different way.
Yeah, I love that it's brought stocks into the Ticket to Ride world, and in a really fun way too.
Yeah. We tied on our very last one, number 1.
Our number 1, and we matched up.
I have to make a really big deal about this because somebody that I'm married to says that I don't make a big enough deal about the number 1.
Half the time she's like, all right, then my number 1 pick is, whatever, Ticket to Ride. It's like, wow, we just like this whole
Be
list.
excited, like make people wait. Okay, we'll count to 5 and then I can tell you.
Nope, just do it now.
Do it now?
Now
Okay.
it's weird.
Okay, we match on United Kingdom.
The United Kingdom map is incredible. This is my favorite map. This is our favorite map.
Yeah.
What it adds is special abilities. So you have a really kind of a bland vanilla start to the board. You can only build in certain regions of the board. What you have to do is you have to pay in wilds, which of course is the most rare commodity in the game. You have to pay in wilds these upgrades to your technology. And the technologies might be the ability to cross water, the ability to make longer and longer routes, the ability to build into certain parts of the land.
Different countries, yeah.
The regions, we'll say, Scotland and Ireland and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can use, there's one of the technologies that allows you to turn wilds, other cards into wilds. There's just a ton of different special abilities, and there's like some point-based ones too.
Yes.
When you place, you get extra points or whatever. So these technologies take this game to the next level and makes it my favorite.
Yeah, the number 1 of all of the Ticket to Rides that we've played.
Exactly. Yeah, and I'm sure there's more coming out. I know there's ones that were only released like in Poland or whatever, and those we haven't played. We did not talk about any of the fan-made expansions, of which there's a million. My favorite's the Lord of the Rings ones that my friend Michael Darwin made, so shout out to you. Because I love Lord of the Rings, and it's great anyways. It's legitimately good. But yeah, this is just a beloved family of games, and
which expansion is your favorite? Where do
Or
we
map.
match up with you? Yeah. Or map is your favorite. Not expansion, map. Which map is your favorite? Let us know in the comments below. Let us know where we're right, where we're wrong. We want to hear from you. But until then, don't forget to subscribe so you can see our videos until they come out. You can find us on Facebook. We're Ryan Bethany Board Game Reviews. On Twitter, we're Ryan Bethany 1. And on Instagram, we are Ryan and Bethany.
all right, you guys, thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next time.
Bye.